Hello, so this is Cryptic Horror Stories Volume 2, as the title suggests. The horror stories I'm using for these cryptic stories are much more difficult than the ones I did in the previous video, so even if you get one right, let alone all of them, it's pretty impressive. I'm going to put clues in the comment section again for the stories, and I'm going to post the answers on Facebook at one point, maybe in the next few weeks. I'm basically putting them on there so people who don't want to see the answers, so I don't spoil it for them. Okay, I think that's around everything. I hope you enjoy this video. Robber. I was taking a shower when all of a sudden I heard a scream from the living room. I immediately ran out of the bathroom, still naked, and went to see what had happened. When I went into the room, there was a man standing there wearing a mask. He was surrounded by the blood-covered bodies of my mum, dad, and little sister. When the masked man saw me, he immediately ran back through the window which he must have used to break in. My heart sank, and I fell to my knees. Dead body. I was watching the news when suddenly my friend's house came onto the screen. I sat up straight, waiting to hear what had happened. Apparently, a girl's dead body had been found in one of the walls of the house. I immediately called my friend to see what was going on, but he had moved a while ago and wasn't living there anymore. Dude, they found a dead body in the wall of your old place, I explained. What? He sounded scared. No way! The new owner was remodeling when he found it. Shit, that's terrifying. Judging by his voice, my friend was taking the news pretty seriously. Isn't it? I mean, who the fuck kills somebody and then buries their body in the wall? How many times had I been to the house? I was freaking myself out just thinking about it. I feel really bad for the girl, my friend said. I never noticed anything while I lived there. Oh my god, I'm having the chills just thinking about it. I had to agree. Thinking of the possibility of there being a dead body hidden in my house set me on edge. It's like a physical blow, in a way. I think this will stick with my friend for a while. Two experiments. A certain university conducted two experiments. The first experiment was to show that when a person is strictly forbidden from doing something, their interest in doing that action increases dramatically. A man was led into a room that had a button with a small sign reading, "Do not push." The man resisted the temptation for several hours before finally giving in and pushing the button. Another experiment was focusing on two twin sisters to show that twins are synchronized and share their same sensations, even when in separate rooms. One of the girls received an electric shock, and despite being separated, the other girl reported pain on the same body part her sister had been shocked at. The experiment was a huge success. Later, the professor found out that the man from the first experiment was also a twin. Searching through the profile of the man, he was surprised to find that his brother was the National Defense Minister. Weirdo. I was riding the train home from work when I noticed a girl nearby being bothered by some guy. My instincts were telling me to jump up and go after him, but I held back just in case I was wrong. "If he's harassing you, shake your head," I sent a text message to her. I stared at her intently. She noticed her phone buzzing, read the message, and immediately started to shake her head. "Hey, this guy's a pervert!" I immediately screamed, grabbing his hand away from the girl. Everyone in the carriage looked at us, and a few people got up to help me keep hold of him until we got to the next stop. The police and train workers asked lots of questions, but that was about it. The girl thanked me in quite a formal manner before walking home. I'm feeling pretty good today. So, I think I'll take the long way home again. A wish. A star came down from the sky to speak with a young girl. "I'll grant you a single wish, anything you want, and I'll make it come true, but I'll only grant you one wish." The girl was crying. "Please, just get rid of my family. I don't care how, just make them go away. The next day, the girl woke up and everything was just how it always was. Her mother and father were perfectly fine. The girl began to worry. That night the star returned to the girl. "Is everything as you hoped?" "I take back my wish," the girl said. "Oh, but I can't do that. Once a wish is granted, I can't do anything about it," the star replied. The girl began to cry. The spirit world. There was a man who was very in tune to the spirit world. His talents were so strong that he could actually see ghosts. One day he returned home after being away for 3 months. As he stood in his living room, he suddenly became extremely thirsty. He ran into the kitchen and looked in the fridge to see what he had to drink. He grabbed the carton of milk left in the fridge and downed what was left of it. Right after he finished the last gulp, he sensed that something was terribly wrong. He grew scared and fell into despair. Let me in. I was on a business trip with a co-worker. We stayed at the same hotel, so we stayed up talking for a while. He kept trying to freak me out by telling me that the place was haunted and that something was going to come for me in the night. Admittedly, I got kind of scared, and when I went to bed, I made sure to cover myself as much as possible. You know how it is. Just as I expected, I heard someone knocking at my door in the middle of the night. I thought it might be a hotel employee, so I called out to see who it was. Nobody answered. I was scared to even look at the door, and the knocking continued all night long. As soon as the sun started to come up, the knocking stopped. I got dressed and I hurried down out of the room. I checked out without even eating breakfast because I didn't want to be anywhere near the place. After the business trip, I went back home. I told my co-worker about the knocking. He smugly said that he knew it would happen because a while back there had been a fire at the hotel. Most people made it out, but there were a few that had been stuck inside. Those people ended up being stuck in their rooms and died slowly from burns and smoke inhalation. It's their spirits that appeared at the hotel now. Damn! Hearing that made me glad I hadn't opened the door. I wonder what would have happened if I had. The elevator. A man lived on the 14th floor of his apartment building, so he always used the elevator. One night, he got off work late. When he got into the elevator, he pushed the button for the 14th floor. The button lit up, and he waited as the doors closed and the elevator began to go up. Just as the elevator jerked into motion, the button for the 8th floor lit up. "I guess somebody's getting on," he said to himself. Then he realised how absurd the thought was. He quickly hit the buttons for the 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th floors. Each of the buttons lit up and the elevator stopped on the 3rd floor. As the door opened, he squeezed out as quickly as he could. He immediately ran down the stairs and went to the nearby convenience store, where he read magazines and comic books until morning. Paranormal. I believe in the paranormal. When I was a little girl, I used to talk to an older girl I called sister. We used to wear the same dirty clothes and we lived together. But one day, I just couldn't see her anymore. She must have been some kind of apparition which I could only see when I was a kid. Around at the same time, my mum and dad won the lottery. We had been really poor, and I was told that I probably just made up my sister because we didn't have any friends. I'm happy now, but the lottery money is starting to run out. No answer. I can't get hold of my girlfriend. No matter how many times I try calling her, she won't pick up. I went to check on her at work a few times, but she's never there. Her front door is always locked and nobody answers. Every day it's the same thing. Call her phone, check her workplace, go by her house, nothing changes. It's like she's vanished. I think tomorrow I'm going to have to break down her door and check things out. Maybe I'll find some hints as to what's going on.